I would gladly watch the Snow White remake 7 times in a row before returning to this primordial shit. Yeah, I said it. But before I get into the roast, let me read the mystery review for this week. All you have to do is guess which movie this critic is referring to. And the review is, if the entire film were as good as the first 30 minutes, it would easily be one of the year's best pictures. If you think you know what movie that is, or even if you have a wrong answer, put it down below. I'll reveal the answer later on in this video. So yeah, these critics really went full Stockholm Syndrome on Jurassic World Dominion. So let's roast them. Ezekiel Boetti from Astrosigns.com says, Jurassic World Dominion is a return to the spiritual foundation of the saga. This movie's soul left the script the second it was approved. In fact, I knew it was going to be a terrible movie. As soon as I saw that they blew a giant wad of cash on a CGI Mosasaurus like 3 seconds into the movie. They're just like, here's our big special effect. Boom, over. Downhill from there. And when that happened, we weren't even settled into our seats yet. In fact, one of the guys I saw this movie with, 15 minutes in, maybe even less, he stood up and he motioned for us to follow him to leave the theater.
Who's coming with me? Who's coming with me? Who's coming with me?
I should have followed him. Pablo O. Scholes from Clarin gives Jurassic World Dominion a positive score, says it never takes off, or at least it takes its time. Oh my god, fossils take less time becoming exciting. Marcello Stilianto from La Noción, Argentina, gives Dominion a fresh score and says, an entertaining adventure that doesn't completely satisfy. And is this not the problem of most 21st century moviegoers? We've settled for good enough, or even not completely satisfying. If those words come out of your mouth after watching this movie, or any movie, then said movie deserves a very low score. Because our reviews and our scores are meant to send a message to Hollywood, and anybody that actually cares should make the message, we want better. We will not settle for these table scraps you keep dropping on the floor for us. These are like worms. They're cutting worms up and tossing them down. That's how bad these movies are that they're giving us. And besides, the original Jurassic Park, that wasn't good enough. It surpassed virtually everyone's expectations, and it goes on as a living organism, thrilling audiences and generations for years and years to come and will come. Holy Father, amen. But Jurassic World Dominion, its memory became extinct the Monday after the opening weekend. Jorge Arturo Mara from La Noción, Costa Rica, says that Jurassic World Dominion is a film that uses the old legends of the franchise to give an emotionally hard hit to its new characters. Holy sh**. Stop the footmobile, Fred. In the name of Darwin and God combined, how in the God's universe did this movie make you feel anything other than boredom and complete apathy? Jorge is not just saying that this movie had an emotional moment or two, although for the life of me, I cannot figure out what those moments would be. He's saying that this primordial soup of a movie packed an emotionally hard hit. Calling Jurassic World Dominion an emotional movie is like calling Bambi an adrenaline-surging action thriller that would get your heart racing harder than a ride in a biplane. No. The only emotion I felt the entire runtime of this movie was how badly I wanted it to end and how badly I did not want it to exist. Folks, I'm just going to say it. This is the worst movie I've ever seen in my entire life. Are there worse movies than this? Yes. But that one movie did not kill an entire franchise. This movie had everything going for it. It had a pretty unique concept that they set up in the last film. It had an all-star legacy cast that the studio could use at their disposal. And it's a sequel to objectively one of the greatest movies of all time. And yet, they decided to squander all of those elements and instead screw the pooch on both ends. As much as I absolutely detest The Rise of Skywalker, I would gladly watch that before sitting down to rewatch this pile of dino shit. Now that I've bared my soul, let's go on with the roast, huh? Perry Nemiroff from Perry Nemiroff, that's a bit presumptuous. He says, admittedly, there's a good deal of missed opportunities, but Dominion still makes for a solid ride courtesy of excellent dino effects and sky-high cast chemistry. Yeah, the only chemistry this movie created was between the audience and the exit signs. Walking out of the theater that night after watching this movie was like escaping a burning building. Except I'm pretty sure that the effects of having watched the entire movie gave me worse cancer than if I had inhaled actual smoke into my lungs. And then he says excellent dino effects. Let me tell you, the last time I saw great dinosaur effects, it was whenever the last time they used a practical, physical animatronic. Corey Woodruff from Nashville Scene says, man watches dinosaur movie. Here we go with one of these again. Man notices glaring flaws in dinosaur movie. Man still enjoys dinosaur movie. Man just confessed to extracting joy from watching a cinematic war crime. There you have it, folks. It's Corey's fault that this film was ever made. It's Corey's fault that this film felt no obligation to deliver on its promise. It didn't even try. It opened with what? Like stock footage from the previous movie? And then, hey, there's dinosaurs in Paris, there's a dinosaur in Argentina, and that was it. And then we got stuck with what we had. As a film critic, you cannot, under any circumstance, acknowledge glaring flaws in a movie that has expectations as high as the Jurassic franchise has set, and then give it a fresh score. Now, you can say, this movie was horrible, the effects were awful, the acting was bad, like damn it to hell if I didn't love it. And you can still give it a rotten score. That is allowed. I don't think anybody knows it, but that is allowed. So if you like a movie that you actually confess yourself that is a bad movie, but don't give it a fresh score. That's the only thing the executives are looking at. Scott Mendelson from Forbes says Jurassic World Dominion is a refreshingly overstuffed movie that feels like a miracle. The only miracle here is that there were no real-life casualties after watching this movie. I could go on with these critics. There's literally 95 more of them who deserve to be raptor bait. But not for these raptors. Not these raptors in particular. Because these raptors would simply just snuggle up with them and curl up in their laps. They added more teeth, but they made it more tame. Good job, good job. Here is the answer to the mystery review I read earlier on. The review was, if the entire film were as good as the first 30 minutes, it would easily be one of the year's best pictures. This came from Eric D. Snyder from Screen Anarchy about the movie 2012's Les Miserables. I never could say that word. All right, I need some honesty here. Let's hit our most honest review. Dallas King from Flickfest says, Jurassic World Dominion is the worst thing to happen to the dinosaurs since that meteor 65 million years ago. This is how a franchise dies, with raptor-less applause. Don't forget to check out my video on Jurassic World, and you can catch all of my videos on my playlist right here. Until next time, keep roasting, roasters.